I don't want to go in a waiting room unless
Put
they
baby
have.
in the corner.
Only put me in the waiting room if they have like fun magazines to read.
Mm,
If they have like TVs playing SpongeBob or something like that,
mm.
and a SpongeBob
Or
aquarium. If they have you know what I'm referencing?
I do know
SpongeBob.
what you're referencing.
Yeah.
I was gonna reference something else, and actually something that would be much more generalizable of uh have you ever been to any like non-commercial salon or barber ever? You read the same magazines for 10 years. There are never new ones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Limitless Parkcast, the podcast by Limitless Park that's not about parking, it's about parks. Just the one single word, theme parks to be exact. Though we do talk about our fair share of amusement parks, maybe the occasional water park. Just as long as it's not a regular park, or I'm not a big fan of like picnic parks. But you know who might be a fan of picnic parks? My co-host and brother and regular old hunky fella, Brandon. What do you think about picnic parks?
Picnic parks, are those just like regular parks? Because if they're
They're
like,
whatever you want to be. They're whatever you
I
want them
love
to be.
I love a good regular outdoors park. I I think there's honestly not much better in this world. Theme parks are good, but just normal parks where you can go do some light hiking, have a picnic. Pretty good.
If a park has a nice body of water in it, I will agree with you. If you got a
Hmm,
river going by, or a nice pond, or even a lake, ooh, all day.
agree.
I could
Yeah.
be in there, next to it, around it, above it, maybe not below, because that means I'm drowning.
Hmm.
But
Or does
anywhere
it? There's
else,
just like an under you could be in a submarine.
we all live in a yellow
I was
submarine.
so confused as to where you were going. You took a big pause and you did a one, two, three.
We had our last episode. We recorded it in April, and then it took me a while to get around to it, but eventually put it out. We talked all about the Walt Disney Studios stuff, and what do you know?
No, no, no,
We held
no. No, no,
what?
no.
Oh God!
We're
Sorry, I
using the
meant
bad
Disney
name.
Adventure World.
Hey, Disney Adventure World. It's a name.
Jesus.
I've gotten over
I
it.
think on the last podcast I said something like, I don't think I'll call it Walt Disney Studios after this, regardless. So I guess I was wrong. But
Well, it's
regardless,
still not officially named Adventure World yet. It
that
it
is true.
it still needs to open as Adventure World. It's still Walt Disney Studios Park for
Yeah,
the
you're right.
current time.
Okay, so I'm still correct. That's fine.
Yes.
Regardless, though, we had that episode. We said we were going to come back with another episode. And I actually said there was an article that I saw that I want to talk about. And we still want to talk about that. But, we've given you our word. We are here. We're back. Hopefully, I'll get this episode out a lot faster, too. We're coming back so soon, too, because not only do we have that, but we have a lot of other, not really news, but just like a big digestive, a big dump of news to digest from, or at least a dump of content and a guide almost to Fantasy Springs in Tokyo Disneyland. And Disney released a huge guide of it with pictures and stuff like that, and just a lot of different information about the land. So we really wanted to get on here and talk about it, give it our thoughts. My personal coming from it was we had a bit of a negative Disney episode last episode, and now this one, honestly, at least for that part of the episode, will be pretty dang positive, because I think, spoilers, but Brandon and I think that this whole Fantasy Springs thing in Tokyo Disneyland is pretty sick. So,
It's Oriental Land Company, so you know it's gonna be pretty fire.
oh, we love the OLC.
We do. We do love the OLC.
Sounds
Shout
like
out
the
to
EAC.
Japanese owned industrial companies.
Yeah.
They
You,
slap.
Brandon and I have quite a few hobbies, and one of them just so happens to be Japanese industrial companies. We
Hyping
like
them up. It's
we
not
like the
like we're buying their products or anything because they don't really,
well, not
we're just hyping them up. You know.
yeah. We like OLC, and Brandon's gonna name the next one that we like.
I guess I could go with Mazda. I mean, that's
Oh
not
God, I didn't
industry.
know you were actually gonna say something.
Oh no, I don't like Mazda actually.
I thought we were talking about like land holding companies too.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Caroline has a Mazda, and it's very nice.
eh, the
Maybe not
Mazdas
as
are
nice as a
fine.
Ford,
Or a
but
Subaru, like that's a Japanese company.
Subaru is not. Is Subaru a Japanese company?
Yeah, I thought so.
I didn't know that. But then again, what do I know other than
It's that, yeah. Wait,
this? Subaru. It's what makes love a Subaru.
yeah, it is Japan. Okay, that's. I was like, I've done an entire labor relations class and talked about a lot of all the auto strike stuff, and I was like, I know that they're not. They're a foreign company. I'm like, I think they're from Japan, just like Toyota and Mazda, because I'm like management methods and stuff that I knew about, but I was just like, I
Yeah,
don't want to get that wrong.
I knew Toyota was one, but I feel like everybody knows that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. But so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that article that I mentioned on the last episode. That's going to be like our Fantasy Springs is the main topic, and then our, as I labeled it on our show notes, our not main topic is that article. But we have one piece of brief news that I saw today, and I really wanted to touch on just because Brandon and I have both been to the park, and though we haven't experienced this part of the park, funnily enough, we can still kind of talk about the park itself, and I think it's a very cool thing. So we can just touch on that. Do you got anything else you want to share, Bren, before we jump right into this swiggity swoogity sexy news?
Not that not that's relevant right now. I think we can jump right into it.
Do you have anything irrelevant that you have
No,
to say?
not really.
That's such a bummer. Well, I guess we have to move on to Six Flags America and Steamtown. Do you have the page up on your computer?
That I do.
All right, cool. As always, you guys can follow along with us at home. I'll put the stuff in the show notes. You can read along with us. Six Flags, Steamtown. A while back when Six Flags did all their park announcements, they had a bunch of things come out. One of them was Six Flags America getting these different editions, and it was going to be Steamtown, a whole different overhaul. But there wasn't like names for the attractions yet. There was maybe some, I believe it was the theming, and I believe like they showed what ride they were adding and that they were going to be doing stuff to the rides, but they didn't exactly share all that until it was like a couple days ago when they did basically a huge different info dump and have a whole page on the website now talking about everything that was redone. Now, Brandon and I back in 2017 went to Six Flags America, and I believe we rode every roller coaster there except the roller coaster that was overhauled in this. It was previously Mind Eraser, which was the Vekoma SLC. Brandon's looking at me funny because he's thinking of Six Flags New England, which we did ride Mind Eraser.
No.
Oh.
Raging Cajun was there and open at the time, and we didn't ride it.
Oh, we didn't ride it. That's right. Because, so, fun fact about this trip, real quick tangent. I was sick with, like, something bad. Like, I had a fever, although I don't know what for sure it was. I had an actual fever, though, because I remember, like, taking Mucinex and Advil or whatever and just feeling pretty miserable. But, like, overall, we were like, and that's the last time I think I'll go to a theme park while sick, because that was terrible.
Pre-2020 times when you didn't even give it a passing thought of like you were like, I'm sick, but like coasters.
Yeah.
Now I would just be like, no. Why would I do that for myself and other? Why would I do that? No,
exactly. But back then I wanted the credits, Brandon. I cared about credits so much back then.
Yeah. So much that we rode. What's a bad ride from there?
All of them.
All? Yeah, that was the joke I was going to do.
Nah, Superman's good. Joker's good. Roar was terrible. That wooden coaster.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was a bad ride.
Wait, was Batwing there? No, that's...
That
New England?
Wait, yeah, Batwing is there. Yeah, actually. Sorry.
I like the Flying Dutchman.
The reason I wanted to bring this up, aside from being there, is the fact that I love steampunk themed areas. Even the, like, very modest, like, lightly themed Six Flags areas that are quote-unquote steampunk, like, I still am a sucker for them. And Six Flags does a lot of that, especially recently, it seems like, with, like, it was... I think Six Flags Fiesta Texas did that sort of with the Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger.
That's what's funny, is when I saw this in the show notes, You had written even like it says Disney's America on it, but I saw
What?
Steamtown
Disney's America.
or not Disney. Oh my God, Six Flags America. Yeah, Six Flags America. Sorry, my brain is all over the
Yeah.
place. You had written Six Flags America, and I saw Steamtown, and my brain instantly, like when I opened the page, I said, Dr. Diabolical. This is Fiesta, Texas. I thought we were going to be talking about Fiesta, Texas today. And
Oh,
then
that's
you
really
really
funny.
you started talking about Six Flags America, and I went, what? I don't think
That's
this
why
is
you gotta
right.
check your junk email, Brandon, and find the show notes early so
Ahead
you
of
can read
time?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to like ask your opinion on it because I know you probably don't really have one, but like, I guess my one like sort of fun question to it would be like Six Flags America obviously kind of sucked. It's like there's no reason to be like going back there. Does this do anything for you to like change that opinion? Because I'm assuming
Um,
you have that opinion.
Yeah, so no, not at all. But the thing that I would say is that mentioned before that you enjoy steampunk themed areas as like a theme. And I kind of agree on that from the sense that it is a non-IP or it's like an actual theme for an area that's not just like I love DC. Like trust me, I love a good DC Comics superhero thing. But they don't
Hmm.
ever like theme the areas that well to the intellectual property that they like theme a ride around at Six Flags too often. And so now this is a whole area like they did in Fiesta, Texas, and like they kind of have in the Scream Punk area. Is that what it called? That's what's called, right?
It's
Scream Punk?
called Steamtown. Wait,
No,
or what are you?
I'm talking about Twisted Colossus
Oh,
in
right.
Magic
In
Mountain.
Magic Mountain. Yeah. I think
I
it's
think it's
Scream
called
Punk.
Scream Punk.
Scream Punk
And
District, maybe?
yeah, yeah. And that's like even less themed. But I generally think that for a Six Flags level amusement park, that the steampunk working as a theme, like for a themed area, is a very positive gain. Or it's like a net gain, no matter if they're like adding rides or it's just retheming an area into it or like anything. That's a net gain for any like amusement park because it's like a little bit of a theming area that maybe in 10 years will be look dilapidated. But like right now, it'll look shiny and new and it's not a bad theme to where it like because steampunk has an interesting aesthetic, it'll look okay if even if they don't upkeep it super well, it'll look okay for the next 5 years. And the upkeep won't be super like if they don't maintain it super well, it won't be a problem because it'll still look pretty good after 5 years. After you get to that point, then maybe it'll start to dip. But I don't know, for amusement parks to have a little bit of a theming around for a land and it not being that hard to maintain, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree overall. Real quick to, I guess, touch on what they're actually doing or getting in case listeners haven't like heard that or like
Oh yeah,
know
that would have
actually
been
what's
good.
going on. Yeah, so it's four attractions in this area. I don't know what the area was called previously, but it's four attractions, three of which were already there, and then one of which is new. The first like main one that's new is called Steam Whirler. I believe that's Steam Whirler. Yeah, Steam Whirler, and it's one of those Zamperla. Zamperla. It's not gonna say it
Swing?
on
No,
the
they're not
Six Flag thing.
swings.
It's okay. It's a Zamperla ride. The cars kind of invert on each other. Nebulas, Zamperla Nebulas. That's what they're
Hmm.
called. We saw one in Vegas actually, but it was dismantled. Remember, because it was in the Adventure Dome, and I
Oh,
really wanted to
yeah,
ride it, and of course, it was like the one thing, and it was dismantled.
yeah.
Um,
I forgot about
so
that.
yeah, whatever. But they always look really cool off ride, like just as much as I'm sure they are on ride. They're maybe a little tame on ride, but off ride they look very cool. Look up a video of it, and they almost look like an optical illusion thing kind of going. It's really cool. So that's the new thing that they're adding. That's a safe bet. I think that's a good attraction, especially for the steampunk thing. It'll fit in well. And then they took their Rapids ride and they rethemed it to Quantum Canyon Rapids. The whole thing with this is it's a Rapids ride based around time travel. And it's like, it's not going to be anything crazy, I'm sure, but there's going to be like dinosaur animatronics on it and stuff like that. So you're going back in time. There's a whole backstory to all of this land. And it's the Professor Screammore. He's inviting you to the, the actual Steamtown area, and that's why there's all these different inventions and things going on. Like I said, you can read more about it on the website for all the details, but I think a time travel rapids ride is such a weird concept, even if like, it's probably not going to be anything super incredible. It's still like hey, it's a rapids rides with theming as opposed to just like, a rapids ride with nothing, and I think that's really cool. And then they rethemed their indoor bumper cars to something called Electro Derby, which is just, I don't know if it had different special effects and stuff like that before. I'm pretty sure it didn't, because the whole thing is like, it's the indoor bumper cars, but now there's like a lot more special effects and fun lighting and stuff in there. So who knows what that's
Will there
fully
be?
gonna be. That's what I saw, not on the Six Flags website. It was on a different news thing. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But that was the whole idea of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Six Flags, so who knows?
Well, okay.
It could be like a lone disco ball in the corner of the ride.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is based on their description of it, it's just like, it's bumper cars. Yep. And
yeah,
that's it.
I don't know.
And there's no concept art of it being cooler.
It should be cooler, but I guess
Okay.
we'll have to wait and see until it happens.
That
And
we
then
will.
I suppose still the main attraction of the land is Professor Screammore's Skywinder, which was previously Mind Eraser, Vekoma SLC, which, like I said, Brandon and I did not ride that day. Probably for the best, because those things are absolutely abysmal. Except the whole thing with this is it got retracking, I believe, or at least reprofiling. Again, it's not going to say this on the it does say that there's upgraded state-of-the-art restraints because the trains were upgraded, so that's a thing, which is really good, because some SLCs that have gotten those newer trains, people say, have tended to be a lot better because there's not as much head banging with what is, I believe, like the vest restraints. So that's cool, but it's the reprofiling and then retheming, so it's all gonna give, hopefully one of the better Vekoma SLC experiences in the country, if not the world. It's still a Vekoma SLC, but as far as that goes, like, there are some out there that some people say are decent, and it's because of things like this. I believe there was I can't remember what it's called, but there's a Pier Park in New Jersey. I think it's either New Jersey or Maryland, and they had a Vekoma SLC that got like reprofiled and stuff, and I believe also got the new trains, and it's like one of the best ones that you'd think it's a completely different ride. So if that's anything like this, then we could actually be looking at a decent inverted coaster, which is kind of cool. Something that Six Flags America could probably benefit from.
Well, what I like about it is that I like the color scheme of it, and I'm surprised they're doing something, that color scheme of yellow track, red supports, for a non-Flash theme coaster in a Six Flags park, but I like that. And then, as well as, even though this is just concept art, I've also been looking at other pictures of the old Mind Eraser at Six Flags America. And I'll be honest, because of how many trees it has around it, and because the raft ride goes next to it, I actually think that like the kineticism of this entire land looks really good now. Like, because it'll have the raft ride that goes past the coaster really close, actually, and then it has like a kinetic flat ride that's moving a lot in the main little town square area that's like the themed land that's right outside both the other attractions. It's good. I think it'll like actually be a pretty good land. It won't make me want to show up because it's Six Flags America and I've already been there. But like, for people that's their home park, even though it's not like a huge addition of like, oh, a new coaster or anything, it's a cool new area that's giving new life to an old part of a park. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The kineticism is going to be really cool. Real quick, the pictures that you were looking at, because what I was going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't it always been red supports and yellow track?
No. It has been orange supports and yellow track.
Oh, well, I am colorblind. So
that's what I was going to say.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. It was orange supports and yellow track, and it looks so ugly.
Yeah, it's not. It's not
like,
great.
It looks terrible. Anyone who's wondering what Mind Eraser at Six Flags America looked like, and you don't want to look up a picture, just understand that it looks terrible. That's a good word. It's great.
Absolutely terrible. So that is Steamtown at Six Flags America. It looks like it's going to be a cool addition. Like we are kind of saying, I don't think it's. I don't think I'm like, oh man, I gotta go out to Six Flags America now. Like I would place money on that maybe never happening, but regardless, it is still a very cool thing, and Six Flags should continue to do that stuff. I know that sounds contradictory, like why would they continue to do that stuff if it's not drawing people out? But like if I hadn't been there, for instance, ever, I think that is a fantastic reason to go out and check it out because new somewhat themed land and then go ride all the other roller coasters. Honestly, yeah, I would argue that if there's a better time to go, or there isn't a better time to go see Six Flags America than it seems like this year, because this seems to be like one of the better investments they've gotten in a long time. So that combined with all the other coasters is pretty awesome. That is our little piece of news. Now we'll transition into that article. We don't have to spend as much time on this, but I just really, because it's at this point almost a month old, but it caught my eye, and out of all the theme park stuff that's been going around, it's definitely one of the things that keeps popping in my mind and popping in my head, and I can't really forget. So BlogMickey, arguably my favorite like source of Disney news. I don't know about you, but I really like them. They put out an article that was more of an opinion article that's called, and this was on April 13th, 2024, that says, it's Disney. Epic Universe is Universal playing catch-up on a decade of nonstop development at Walt Disney World. And in the article, it basically states that there was a Wall Street Journal article that came out that was talking about, Epic Universe and what its impact on Walt Disney World is going to be in the future, because big awesome theme park, oh no, is it going to destroy Disney? Now granted, once again, shameless plug, I think that Epic Universe is fantastic, and I did a video on it. I think it's going to be probably the best Orlando theme park when it opens, but nonetheless, this whole perspective that Disney's ruined, I think, is a little goofy. Regardless, I'm not saying that's 100% what the BlogMickey article was going towards. They were more making the case, or it's actually the opposite of what they were going towards, though. They were making the case that, against this Wall Street Journal article, that, Epic Universe and Universal is playing catch-up on Disney right now. So instead of Epic Universe, doing this amazing thing and totally trumping Disney, it's them simply trying to catch up to what Disney has done since, I believe it was 2014, with all their additions. And then they go on to list all the additions, which I really appreciate, because I feel like some articles that would make this would just say, oh, their opinion or whatever, and they wouldn't quantify it, but it's very nice to see all the additions. I'll read these off real quickly. Disney World's attraction and experiences that were added since 2014 are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, the Pandora World of Avatar Land, which had Avatar Flight of Passage and Navi River Journey rides, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios, which had Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run, and then there was Toy Story Land, Alien Swirling Saucers, and Slinky Dog Dash in there. I'm surprised they didn't list that first, considering it was before it, but whatever. Frozen Ever After, same thing. They didn't have that, and then they have for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which that's closed now.
Is that set to close?
I think it's already closed.
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but that's kind of weird because this was an article from, like I said, a year ago or a month ago. So,
yeah, but
regardless, it was an addition. But that's just what they're saying. But Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Happily Ever After, Journey of Water inspired by Moana, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, which is, the best one in my opinion, Ka-chow, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and then Tron Like a Cycle Power Run. So all those, and then Universal Orlando, and this is, granted, a significantly shorter list, but it's Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is like Diagon Alley, which has Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts and Hogwarts Express. And then they added Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, and then Velocicoaster, and then Volcano Bay Water Park, and then Villain Con Minion Blast, Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon, Fast and the Furious Supercharged, Skull Island Reign of Kong, and The Bourne Stuntacular. So that is Universal's list versus...
And that is 15 for Walt Disney World, at, attractions, and then 10 attractions for Universal.
Okay, so it's 15 versus 10. So essentially BlogMickey's saying that, because quantity-wise, Disney has added all this stuff, Epic Universe is just Universal playing catch-up on Disney versus, maybe some normal competition throughout the 2010s or whatever. over the past 10 years. And I think that's kind of goofy. Do you have any initial thoughts before I
Oh,
kind
I
of...
completely think it's hogwash. It's just normal competition through the years, especially if you look at the fact that like so I don't know. If you look at how all these things were received. Okay, so like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train by like deep theme park community, maybe not loved, but like still holds a line to this day. And like Pandora, like that's all very well received, even though like Navi River Journey isn't exactly, I guess, super greatly received, but I still think it's good and it still holds a line. Um, Galaxy's Edge, both things hold a line, both things are great. Don't at me about Smuggler's Run. Toy Story Land, you got Alien Swirling Saucers, normal little thing, like flat ride. Jeez. And then a new coaster. Like you have like quality and like Guardians of the Galaxy, Frozen Ever After, like that's a new dark ride, even though it's a retheme. Like Tron, Mickey's Runaway Railway, like those are replacements and updates. And that's the same thing for like while yes, Disney added three big new immersive lands in this time, and or like Universal only did one big land at this time. Yeah, well, Universal also did an entire water park.
Yeah.
Um,
Universal also has less space, at least in the context of
yep,
this, to do those
yeah,
things.
yeah, and
Like
well, it's
obviously
just they have
that's
two
why they're
parks.
building Epic Universe
Yeah, it's two
because
parks versus four parks. It's like here's 15 attractions across four parks versus 10 attractions across two. If you
yeah.
even think about the distribution of that for a second,
And
that's
we know that in the past 4 years that there has definitely been a slowdown in additions for both parks too. Like that's, somewhat a thing for sure. And I will say too, not all of Universal's attractions have been quality. There's definitely stuff on here where I look at it and I'm like, Race Through New York, Fast and Furious, pretty pretty hogwash rides. They're not great. And there's even the argument for Skull Island, Reign of Kong, and Villain Con Minion Blast that they're not so good. So I mean that you could say, hey, four attractions right there that aren't very good at all. So what are you talking about? But I mean, you scroll up to the Disney one, and it's like, I mean, Tron's been getting good reviews. I don't think you can bash that very much. Mickey and Minnie, I personally love. I think you liked it too, right? At Disneyland.
oh, I think it's one of the best rides Disney has ever made.
Okay, sick. So we're in agreement there. It's awesome. But then like Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, I didn't know that adding like a crappy amphitheater with like benches to watch a McQueen animatronic talk was considered like
You say
groundbreaking.
that, but they're just
Don't
talking about
defend this ride.
additions.
I
I'm
know.
not defending this ride, but that's the only one on the list, Andrew.
Uh I mean, I
I
would argue Alien Swirling Saucers not that important. Navi River Journey, I know what you're saying, like
no,
it's okay, but
Navi River
it
Journey is
Navi
important.
River Journey is probably on the level of like a Skull Island Reign of Kong,
I
or
guess
even
yeah, one cool
like a
animatronic
Villain Con
versus
again, where it's like their innovative experiences are cool, but they are lacking in some way.
yeah, yeah. I guess that's
I,
true.
I
But
think they are on the list. Slinky Dog, I love the coaster. It's fun, but it's not like groundbreaking. It's not that good. Frozen
but
Ever After, it's probably it's a little better, I guess, than Navi River Journey. And then Journey of Water, while I can't comment on because I've never been there, it is a walkthrough thing, which is maybe on the lines of the Villain Con Minion Blast. Both cool things, but I think it's not like that much better or worse. It's
yeah,
just
I think their competition it hasn't been catch up. It's just been equal competition throughout this last 10 years.
yeah.
Like this
I agree.
maybe this hasn't been a great 10 years for like either resort, but it definitely hasn't been a bad one. It's been
I was gonna
pretty
say, wait,
good.
I would argue that overall that's really great. Yes, the back half of it, or the back 4 years of it, because of world events that we all
Yeah,
know,
no. Yeah.
not necessarily like the
Helping out
best
there.
additions. But well, I mean, and that said, we got Velocicoaster out of it. We
We
did
got
get
Cosmic
Guardians of the
Rewind
Galaxy
during it.
Cosmic Rewind.
Tron was supposed to come far before it, but
Yeah, but it did
it
eventually come. So
I mean
like,
Tron
yeah,
took so many
overall,
years though.
no,
Got
I'm not.
announced in 2016.
I don't want to defend it. I don't want to. I thought it was 2017. No, you're
Oh,
right.
maybe. Yeah, I
Well,
thought it was
wait, no, it was
2016.
2017 because
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually I wrote it. I'm pretty sure it was 2017 because it was one of the first Limitless Park articles I wrote.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
and I remember listening to the feed with you when it was announced. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember that, but
I do.
so like, yeah, I guess that bottom line, we're both saying it. It's very similar output overall, especially when you take into account 4 parks versus 2, or if Universal wants to count Volcano Bay, it's 3. But and that's the thing, they are counting it on here as a thing. And you're right, even though it is just a water park, it is a fantastic water park, and
It's a
uh,
big boy.
yeah, it's a huge expansion. I would actually be curious, like to see like the amount of money that I don't think this would be publicly available necessarily, but the amount of money added up for all of these things combined,
Mm.
and then like compare them, but then also factor into the account that it's like, okay, 4 versus 2 or 4 versus 3, and like what's the I don't know, I'm not a math
Distribution.
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I would be very curious to see something like that. I don't know if that'll ever come out, um,
I would doubt
but
it, but I
yeah.
feel like both companies are investing lots and lots of money.
Yeah, and that's going to continue. I mean, we know that. I feel like, well, hey,
Yeah,
we know
they
now with.
need to
Did you see
invest
Disney? Actually,
more
we're not
money.
talking about it, so we won't dwell on it. But did you see that Disneyland Forward got approved?
Yeah, that's what I actually was thinking about adding to the show notes this morning. I forgot about it, but because I saw it and I was like, oh, we could add that. But
What if we just did a different episode on it? Honestly,
yeah,
I would like to do a
yeah, we
full,
could.
like just a full episode talking about like what we'd like to see come there. I think that would.
Yeah,
I think that could be a single thing. We don't have to talk about anything else, and we could get
yeah,
plenty of time out of that. So, because I want to see so much stuff there. But
yep.
yeah, exciting stuff. So
Exciting
point being,
stuff.
in our opinion, BlogMickey is wrong, not in the fact that there was bad output from Disney, but just they were evenly matched. It was good, and we're excited to see it continue further. So,
I think that if anything, Disney is going to be having to play catch up in these next 10 years. And that's like that's why they said whatever however long ago we're going to invest this billion amounts of money, this $1 billion or however much it was that Bobby Iger came out and said, "Hey
yeah,
guys,
Bobby
I know
Iger.
I know we need to put some more money in here, but also we'll see. You
Yeah,
never
I
know."
mean, it's very much the type of thing. It does sort of look that way now. In order for them to maybe turn that image into something more evenly matched, they have to start adding things. It's not just starting adding things, announcing things. It's saying, "Hey, this is coming 2020." It's probably not going to be
Oh,
2025, but 2026. Like, uh,
Disney, like in this D23, especially with Disneyland Forward getting approved before this is going to be huge.
yeah. Anyways, so that's that article. That's our thoughts on that. If anybody has different thoughts, feel free to share them, because there's no right answer to this. It's just a couple of opinions. But so there's our news and there's our article. Now we just got to talk about what's kind of news, but it's not really news. That's why I didn't want to lump it in there, because Disney hasn't said anything necessarily new, but they
I
are.
mean,
I mean, it is. It's just not
there's
like it's not like an
one,
announcement type thing
yeah,
or
yeah,
what.
there's one huge new thing is actually now that we kind of maybe sort of understand what the Peter Pan ride is. Yeah.
We should probably say what we're referring to.
Oh yeah.
So Fantasy Springs at Tokyo DisneySea, the long-awaited, what I'm calling is like a mega land, because it can't just be one land. It's like too big for that. It's this mega land with 3 separate areas almost, and a hotel and everything. They're adding this big thing, and when is it opening? Yeah, it's
It's June
opening
6th.
on June 6th. Correct. And there's tons of different stuff coming to it. In preparation for this, on May 6th, Disney put out the ultimate guide to Disney Spring, or ultimate to Disney Springs. Here's my ultimate guide to Disney Springs. Walk right until you see the Ghirardelli chocolate store, and then go in and grab a handful and run. That's
I don't
my
even know if they
guide.
do that anymore.
Oh, well, that's sad. But no, Disney released the ultimate guide to Fantasy Springs on their Disney Parks blog. And like Brandon said, with the exception of the Peter Pan ride stuff, which we'll go over, there's not really new information, but there's a lot of this stuff. And then there's also a ton of other like like a ton of just pictures of rides and everything. Now I couldn't find the official link to it, although everybody was like posting these, but I couldn't find them. But I was able to find the Attractions magazine like repost of everything, where they kind of say like Tokyo DisneySea revealed Fantasy Springs ride photos and stuff like that. So it might have been. I know they were posting a lot of stuff on Instagram too.
That's where I've been seeing all of it, is like Disney Imagineering, Disney Park stuff has just been like, here's this, here's this.
There's been a lot of videos and pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
But so that article has a ton of these pictures, just like pictures and information, and it's all, the PR speak, but it's still so exciting because this land looks like it might be the best thing that Disney has ever done. No joke. Like, I think that genuinely, again, we have yet to experience it, and Brandon and I most likely won't experience it for a while, but nonetheless, this thing looks incredible.
I would say it's the best thing that they have done in recent years. Because I wouldn't say because there's a lot of Tokyo DisneySea that I would say is genuinely the center
That's
Earth
fair.
area, or the I don't remember what it's called. The central port with the Journey to the Center of the Earth ride and the 20,000 Leagues is
Jules
genuinely
Verne
one
land,
of
whatever it is.
Yeah, is genuinely one of I think that's probably, in my opinion, one of the most impressive theme park lands in general. But this, yes, for a modern IP based land and attractions, it's amazing. It's genuinely so much better than anything has been in recent years.
It literally looks fantastic. Let's go through the guide. Let's talk about this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of talk about first where it's located, which I'm not super familiar. I do have a map of DisneySea on my map bulletin board actually, and so I know the layout of the park somewhat. Nonetheless, it is located between the Arabian Coast and Lost River Delta areas. Arabian Coast has the Sinbad ride, I believe, and Lost River Delta has the Indiana Jones ride and Raging Spirits coaster, and that's all I know. But it's towards the back of the park, correct?
Well,
I believe.
so how they made a new walkway in between, I believe. Did you just say that they made a new walkway in between the Arabian?
No.
Okay.
I just
so
said
they made
that
a new
it's located
walkway.
Between.
Yeah, they made a new walkway basically jutting out from between the Lost River Delta area with the Indiana Jones ride, and it's right next to wherever that coaster, that fire coaster is. I don't know.
Raging Spirits.
Raging Spirits. And then the Arabian area. They basically just created a path there, and then that entire expansion, because that expansion pad was one time planned for Tokyo Disney Sky, or whatever their third park was gonna be. But it was long rumored that it would be.
I didn't know
Disney
that.
Sky. Yeah, well, that's it was an expansion pad for a third gate.
No wonder it's so big.
Well, that's the thing, is it was it's either going to be a massive expansion pad for Disney Sea, or it's a third gate expansion pad, and they chose to go with an expansion pad for the current park and a hotel. It's insane.
Honestly, I'm glad they did. As cool as third gates are sometimes, it's that would have been. I mean, while it's a massive land, as a park, it probably would have been pretty tiny, regardless of how good of the theming.
Had the hotel as a part of it, and that would have opened up a lot of room. Even though the hotel's not huge, the hotel is half the size of the land is comparable size to the hotel space. So
yeah. So this land, Fantasy Springs, it's basically made up of, like I said, 3 areas. It's the Frozen Kingdom, Rapunzel's Forest, and Peter Pan's Neverland, which is, based off the movies Frozen, Tangled, Peter Pan, which already I think is just telling of the additions in Tokyo and maybe international parks versus the US parks, where I just feel like the U.S. parks, unfortunately, I feel like some editions can be kind of tone deaf, or it's whatever's the main popular thing. Whereas this, it's Frozen obviously is a huge deal, but then Tangled and Peter Pan would not be my first guesses when it comes to what's gonna make money. Now, granted, I don't know the Japanese market, how they feel towards these movies. Maybe they're huge or they were huge, but regardless, they're not the things that come to my mind or whatever, but it's like they're still making them there because that's just the difference in, I guess, the quality and what they want to put in Tokyo. Which again, we talked about the Oriental Land Company, money's coming from there, and it's a very different process of how things are built there, and that's maybe why it looks a lot better. But regardless, it's cool that these three are the things that they chose, and that, yeah, it makes it the largest expansion yet. It's got I'm just reading off of it now, but it's got 4 new attractions, 3 quick service dining locations, a merchandise shop, and a new hotel. Which I feel like you said, there's the hotel, but despite all that, and I even remember watching like construction videos of the hotel, but it always still, like, I was like forgetting about it just because I was so focused on the land. But the hotel is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it looks so cool, especially that like
Gorgeous
opening
and...
like front part with like the gold or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find a better picture.
It's gorgeous and very expensive.
Is it? I mean, I'm sure it's obviously a deluxe hotel.
I don't honestly know. Like, so I think like the normal, like it is, because like I think the normal rooms are like 400 something, around that, like the equivalent to 400 USD per night. But the crazy thing is there's like, I don't know what the exact number. I thought it was like 57. There's like the hotel rooms that look straight into the park, just like the Miracosta, which is the other theme park hotel for Tokyo DisneySea.
Yep.
Those 50 something rooms that there are that look into that, the USD equivalent of one room per night is like, I think it's like $2,300 something dollars. Yeah. It's insane. And it's like, that is more than the one night is more than it's like close to, or like a little bit more or a little bit under like the median income of all of Tokyo.
Oh my God.
And it's like for a month, and it's like, that's just crazy.
That is absolutely nuts. Yeah, I did know that Miracosta, which I did know that was very pricey, especially on that end, because I would say that out of all the Disney hotels, that is my number one that I would like want to stay in the most. I think that's my biggest bucket list. The Miracosta or the new one? Miracosta. I mean, the new one looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, but Miracosta is still like
iconic.
Yeah, absolutely iconic. It doesn't have to be a park-facing room, obviously. Yeah. Although if I like won the lottery, you know, I'd be doing that right away. So
yeah, it's one of those. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs.
There would be signs.
signs.
And it's me on the Miracosta balcony.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, hotel looks fantastic. I was gonna say, are they actually, again, because I'm not 100% familiar with where Fantasy Springs is in relation, are they like almost facing each other, like the Miracosta and Fantasy Springs Hotel?
Okay, I'm gonna make this so much easier for you. Here, click this link.
Link?
Or I just put a link in the show notes.
I see.
It'll show you a map.
Oh, we're going on WDW News Today for the map. Yeah. I see.
It's in that top corner.
Oh, okay. So it really is.
Yeah, you see how big this is?
I knew it was that big. Like, that's the size isn't what's shocking to me. I guess the thing that's shocking to me, and again, despite paying attention to this so much, I just, for some reason, this didn't register to me. But instead of like, it's not like it would have made sense, or not made sense to me, but like I thought it was that same amount of land, but if you almost rotated it 90 degrees. So like, see how, think of the new expansion as a rectangle. If you rotate the rectangle to be facing, like, so it's almost like, what's that term? Flush with the rest of the park. Instead of running almost vertical out the park, like long ways, I thought it was like that same size, but just backed up against the park. So it was like as if you took the expansion and rotated it as like a rectangle 90 degrees connecting to the park. I thought it was like that, but no, it's like that is a long park now, which is you know, still really cool. But yeah, there's no way you're like seeing the hotel, at least not very well, from either hotel, the Miracosta.
No, yeah, they sit on exact opposite sides of the park. What I honestly think is really cool about Tokyo DisneySea now is that it kind of has like 4 localized areas or what I like, even though it has like a bunch of lands, I would say like the general entrance area as well as like the central like area with the volcano, that's like one area. And then like the place with the Nemo ride that used to be Storm Adventurer thing, whatever. I can't remember the name of it. And then the
Yeah.
Americas area with like the Tower of Terror is over. That's like one little area. Then you have the area of like the Atlantis, Arabian area, and then the Lost River Delta. And then you have Fantasy Springs now. And those are like that's what I would say is Fantasy Springs is like the equivalent of adding the America part of, or well, I would say it's like the Arabian part of Tokyo DisneySea, the Atlantis area, and Lost River Delta all together, and then you have Fantasy Springs now. That's like how big of an expansion this is.
Yeah, it truly is that size. Well, I'll include this article as well so people can get a good visual of the map.
Yeah. It also has
It's
good other
fantastic.
pictures of like the rock work at the front.
Yeah. Yeah, this actually, and this was May 8th. It's interesting because this is also different. And I keep forgetting that there's like previews and stuff like that going on too, so people are all like seeing this stuff. But
Seeing
it's
it,
just
yeah.
fantastic how
Yeah.
how it all looks. So, yeah, I mean, going back to the original guide, just to like kind of use that as like a work through for everything. You have the hotel and then the four rides in the three areas. So first we'll talk about the Frozen Land real quick. Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey. My curiosity of it, and this was going off of because there's, in addition to all these articles, there are also Instagram posts on the Limos Park account now that like show off some of the pictures of this. And as I was doing the post, I was like, so this is similar to the Frozen Ever After ride at Epcot and Hong Kong Disneyland, but it's not the same. It's
No.
it's like an
It's
upgraded, like it's not. I mean, it's obviously not the same layout. I'm assuming because why would
yeah,
they stick to the Maelstrom
it's a
layout?
it's a largely expanded version of it.
Right.
Um,
I think that's similar to how I put it on the post, but I wasn't 100% sure.
yeah, it's also it has like a new narrative structuring because it's like I can't remember what his name is, but the old rock troll, he's apparently telling to
Grand Pabby.
Grand
his name.
Pavy. Yeah, he's telling to like rock trolls, little ones, of like the story of Anna and Elsa, but only Frozen 1. Only Frozen 1. And so they basically just show the entire, or it's like he's using his magic to enchant the castle and the all of Arendelle to show you this story. So it's just one of the Ride the Movie ones, but it looks amazing. Like
Yeah,
so good.
It looks absolutely fascinating. Again, check out all these pictures that we're posting in the show notes because it's just a absolutely gorgeous looking ride. It's exactly what you said. It looks like an expanded, premium version of what I'd say is already a decent ride in Frozen Ever After. It's not the best, but it's still good. But this is like that on steroids. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Such a cool ride. But I will say that's out of everything. Maybe it's not the weakest installation of this, but it's something familiar at least. Whereas the next one in the Tangled area, Rapunzel's Forest, is Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, which is a boat ride. Through doing another similar thing, but unlike Frozen, where we've had two rides somewhat similar to this, this is the first time Tangled's getting its own ride. No more Magic Kingdom bathrooms to talk about Tangled for. Although those are some nice bathrooms at the end of the day. Tangled bathrooms can only get you so far. So Disney's doing this Rapunzel Lantern Festival ride. I love Tangled, so personally, this is the one that I'm most interested in, even if it's not the most extreme one.
Same.
And it looks gorgeous. I seriously,
It looks very good.
I can't believe it. So I said this in the Limitless Park chat last night as I was texting Andrew Brandenburg about it. And I know this is not an original thought because I've seen it on social media and Twitter a bunch or whatever. But regardless, I still want to mention it because there are pictures going around of this ride. And again, I posted, they're on the articles and I posted them to Instagram. Just trying to really drill this in that you guys should go listen to or go check out the pictures if you haven't yet. No matter where you do, just go check them out because it is a sight to behold. But there's pictures of this Rapunzel ride that, I kid you not, look better than than the actual movie, like animation. Like I've seen side by sides of like, here's this scene in the animation, and here's it on the actual ride, and just how the effects and it's lit up and everything in the picture. It's like, wow, this legitimately. And Tangled isn't a bad looking movie by any means. It is one of the earlier CGI things that Disney did. So it's and that, I mean, like the modern CGI look that they kind of have. So it still is kind of finding its footing, but it still looks nice overall. But like this ride, I think it's a fascinating case where I genuinely think the ride looks better than the movie.
So what I would say is, like, while like I would say, I guess Encanto is like the last like final form so far as like how this Disney 3D thing looks right now.
Right.
But like the jump from, specifically in my mind, from Tangled to then you have like Frozen, but it's from Tangled to Moana. That jump is huge. Like, I love Tangled too. It's seeing this land has made me really want to rewatch Tangled, and I've been like, oh, how fun! I'm gonna do it soon. But the jump from Tangled to Moana in like animation quality is huge, and like Moana 2 looks still very good to this day, and Tangled has some like growing pains-ish type of stuff, but like still generally looks good. But yeah, this looks like it looks fantastic because it has all that lighting effects, and the animatronics just look good, and especially the backgrounds. I think the reason why all these people are saying that, oh my god, it looks so much better than the movie, is because honestly, with the animation of the movie, the background details in that movie were not like the animation of the backgrounds were not super fine. But this, in all these pictures, because and this like entire attraction, because this is real life, there's so much detail to the background. So as the characters, they still look good and the same, and they look like perfect. It's that the backgrounds are all like much more detailed and like intricate, that it looks so good.
Yeah, that's probably why. Now that you say that, that makes perfect sense. That it would be based on, just the backgrounds look better. It's absolutely gorgeous. I could look at the pictures for it forever and want to ride it so bad. But moving on from that, we have maybe if you're gonna choose one of these rides that's like the e-ticket attraction potentially, it's probably this one. It's Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. Now, you were mentioning earlier about like the ride system and knowing kind of what it is. I, granted, haven't looked super hard into it. I've seen people say like, "Oh, it's kind of like Spider-Man at Universal Island." Is it? Okay.
So, for the longest time, for like 4 years, or because this has been in development for 7 or 6 years or something like that. So, until like 2 months ago, from my like own personal knowledge, and I think from general knowledge of a lot of other people, this was kept under wraps. We did not know what this attraction was.
I thought it was going to be more like Shanghai's Pirates.
No. No, for the longest time, the thought process was, this is going to be a new version of Flight of Passage, actually.
Oh.
That was like what I had thought this was going to be for the longest time. And I even thought it was until like 2 months ago, because we didn't know anything about it, and we just knew it was like they were like working with Walt Disney Animation, so that there was definitely going to be like some aspects of screens and such, but like just they were talking about it so nebulously that's what it seemed like it was going to be, because of the size of the warehouse and everything that was going to be held in like the show building. But oh my god, yes, it's just like, I've never been on Spider-Man. My closest approximation to what this is going on the Universal Hollywood version of Transformers, which isn't like a great ride, but like that ride format. But with this, it looks amazing.
Yeah. Spider-Man is genuinely, after riding it, in maybe like my top 3 dark rides maybe.
Yeah, I think it would be in mine if I had ridden it yet.
I think so too. And hearing that it's like that, while I will say, I am interested because so Spider-Man, it's a very action-based ride though, and while Peter Pan is fun, I don't think of it as like action or like action-based necessarily.
Hmm.
So I am curious how that ride system sort of translates to it because I'm sure they can make it, actiony and exciting, but at the same time, the only Peter Pan thing we have to compare to is the dark ride that's at all the parks,
Yeah.
and while I love that ride, it's not exactly like a intense ride. Meanwhile,
Well,
Amazing Spider-Man was intense, I'd
yeah.
say.
Well, yeah, and I understand that from having watched POVs and stuff. But I think how it's going to function is because like the structural narrative is that John has been, which is one of the little
Yeah,
Wendy's siblings, one of them, not the baby boy, but the
the one
guy
with
with the top
glasses.
hat, glasses and top
Yeah,
hat.
he's got
True.
glasses and top hat. He's
And
a,
an
he's a
umbrella
pretty
and a cane
nice.
sometimes.
He's a pretty what's the word I'm looking for?
Spiffy looking kid.
But yeah, he's a spiffy fellow.
Hey, shout out to John from
Shout out
Peter
to
Pan.
John.
But so he's getting kidnapped by Captain Hook, and then you're saving him with Peter Pan and Wendy and all the things. And so your boat is going to be like your ride vehicle, your boat is going to be with like pixie dust, so there's going to be one scene where you fly over London. I mean, it'll be a giant screen in front of you, but like with some elements I assume that like cuz most of this is like there's a screen, but it's masked with like that's how Spider-Man works. It's masked with like physical show elements in front of it. And
Right.
you're still moving through these sets. It's not like Ratatouille where you just or Mickey. Well, Mickey's and Minnie Runaway Railway is a different thing because it's all based upon projection. Whereas like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is like he put you in front of a screen and that's the show scene. Whereas
Right.
this is going to be you put you in front of a screen, but it's like with physical show elements in front of it, and I assume it'll be like action packed enough, and
Yeah.
they can make it work.
If there's a scene that's on par with the Amazing Spider-Man part where the Goblin throws
Throws
the
the
pumpkin, and
bombs.
that's one of my favorite parts. I think it's one of everybody's favorite parts of that ride. And I will say, you can genuinely get the idea of it while watching a POV. So if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it and you want to know what I'm talking about, just look up a POV of Amazing Spider-Man and watch it because you get the same idea. But like where it's like it's on the screen and then it throws it and then it explodes in real time. It like actually like happening.
It sends a show
It's-
element flying with lights and smoke, and it's very cool.
Right. It's absolutely incredible. And if there's anything like that on this, fantastic. I will
Yeah.
say, while Spider-Man's 3D overall, I don't remember it being bad. I generally don't love 3D rides with like 3D glasses. It's not my favorite thing. So seeing that this has it, I'm like, well, I guess if we have to. But as far as like, as Amazing Spider-Man was like the least offender of that, so it's not like a Star Tours where I feel like I get motion sick because
Well,
of it.
that's the thing is it's not a simulator, and I
Right.
think 3D rides that aren't simulators actually work pretty well for not like for being relatively immersive, but not like getting you overly motion sick. From I mean, I don't get motion sick, so that's never a problem I've had. But from what I've
Lucky.
understood of other people, is like because it's not just a screen that's in front of you and you're moving and you're just looking at a screen and it's jostling around, but because you're moving in a physical space and you're going back and forward from that screen and like away, and it's not like the screen is moving with your ride vehicle.
Right.
And that's because it's a perception thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Eyes.
that makes sense, and I would agree because overall, while I do have more of a problem with like motion sickness and stuff like that, I don't really remember having a problem on Spider-Man, and that would make sense why. So okay, so that's Peter Pan though, again, and it looks fantastic too. I feel like we got, from what I kind of saw, it was the least amount of pictures, but that's because there's probably a lot of screen-based stuff that's kind of hidden and stuff like that. So that's just what I saw. I could be wrong, but
There was a good amount. I can't remember honestly.
it just seemed like there were more of the others, I guess.
Yes.
But,
No, that's true.
Yeah. So then we move on to the fourth and final, and might I say best, and most technologically advanced of the rides, Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. Oh my god, what a groundbreaking attraction. I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously, like, it's not the best, but I'm giving it a hard time for no reason, because it genuinely does look really cute.
It's You said all that, but honestly, it's going to be great.
Yeah, the
Just from
theming.
a yeah,
Can
you
I
go
say the
on.
concept of it? Just so the concept is you're, I guess, helping Tinkerbell deliver packages or whatever, but it's through the different seasons of Pixie Hollow, which
Hmm.
I've never seen the Tinkerbell movies, but I do know there is that one where it's like the winter stuff or whatever, and it's like there's like seasons that plays a pretty big role, I'm pretty sure, in at
Hmm.
least that movie, if not all of them. It's, very respectful to that material. And then, yeah, like the set pieces, and I think I have a post for it going up either tonight or tomorrow, so by the time this podcast is up, it'll be out on Instagram. But a post of like the different seasons and stuff like that. And just like the winter one looks so cool. The other, like, it's just they look like they're gonna be fantastic. So it's it's an outdoor, also it's like an outdoor dark ride attraction, which I feel like we never get from Disney, and it's just a really cool concept for them to do that right now. Like
Well,
there's some rides, but not a lot.
it's like honestly okay, because you're being shrunk down to the size of a fairy, so all the things are super huge. Um,
Yeah.
what I would say is, it quite honestly, it's like a spiritual successor to Heimlich's Choo Choo Train.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I thought you were gonna say "Honey, I Shrunk the Kids" play
No,
area,
no, no, no,
which is
no,
like my
no.
biggest childhood Disney
Oh,
memory ever.
well, like this
Not
is
really.
literally like it's Heimlich's Choo Choo Train, but you're not in trains anymore. You're in different, like you're in a little ride vehicle. The
Right.
thing that I don't know for sure about this, but I have heard about this, but I'm unsure of, this was like months ago, even when we had seen the ride vehicles, but I can't remember if it actually is going to be the case. But it's that the ride vehicles might swirl, like they might
Oh,
move around.
is it a
Like,
trackless ride system?
no, no, I don't think so. See, no, yeah, see, that wouldn't make sense because of how I look at it, and it doesn't. Yeah, the ride vehicles don't make sense for that. But I had heard like a while ago that people were like, "Oh, it'll give you like good views of all the stuff in the surrounding areas because it'll swivel around." But that doesn't seem to be true at all.
Hmm.
So forgive
Maybe
whatever
the track does
influence.
something. Uh,
What?
Maybe the track does something to pivot them. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
maybe. It doesn't seem like that, but
I mean, I think
yeah.
of all. Grant, I don't know what the ride vehicles look like. I don't. At least I don't think I do. I feel like I missed pictures of that.
That
Um,
yeah, that was like
because
months ago.
that's
But
and I want to stress again, there are so many pictures for people
yep,
to
here
take
I'll
looks at. It's so cool. So
here.
but
This
regardless,
is
like
what the ride vehicle looks like.
oh, okay. So yeah, I mean those look like pretty standard dark ride cars. I will say though, there are coaster cars. Not that this is the same, but there are roller coaster cars. Specifically, I'm thinking of like Busch Gardens Tampa's Cobra Curse, where they generally don't look like they would be spinning ride vehicles, but
Mm,
the vehicles do spin. Even I guess Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind
yeah.
does the same thing too. So theoretically, depending on how the track works, even if it's standard looking cars, they probably won't rotate,
I
but
don't think they do.
maybe they have a way or something for the track to move or something. I don't know. But regardless, even if it doesn't, yeah, it's still just a cool outdoors dark ride concept. Like you said, the shrinking down. Why I was saying the Honey I Shrunk the Kids playground, because in that, if you don't know what the Honey I Shrunk the Kids playground is, it was this old thing in Disney's Hollywood Studios where it was like a playset area, and basically all the set pieces and structures that you could climb on were like big items that are usually small. Like there was like a Duracell battery, and I'm blanking on the other things, but there was,
Ants.
yeah, there were ants. There's all sorts of stuff there.
Look at the picture that I just posted in the thing. I think they do rotate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they rotate.
swiveled.
They
So
swivel, yeah.
it's almost like the car, like the actual vehicle, like designed part is somewhat different from the part with the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think
that's
it is. Yeah. It's like on a swivel, on like the
yeah,
wheels part
you
is,
can
it's
see
a
the wheels.
basket on top of it. Yeah.
So
That's gonna be so cool because it'll give you, like, these will be now, like, people are already saying this about it, but these are gonna be environments that like each season you go into, but it won't be like, here, here's your attention goes towards this spot of it. It'll like spin you around in each area probably because there's gonna be fully like or like surrounding environments.
that is so cool. The one thing I will say, I don't know how it's going to work. So the vehicles, they're 2x2, so it's going to seat 4 people, it looks like, total in a vehicle, and it's like 2 rows of 2. So but both of the rows have steering wheels in them. So like, how does that work? If like, the front, like like
That's
who
a good
control
question.
like I don't know. It's just very
I don't know
like
if it'll be
if you
manual
turn
or
if the
not.
front person turns right, but if the back people turn left or whatever, does it just stay straight? Like what
Yeah, I don't
happens?
know.
Is it like a constant fight of force to see like,
Yeah.
no, Mom, I want to see the giant beehive. I want to see Tinkerbell on the right side. We already
Yeah.
saw Tinkerbell, sweetie. She's been in every scene. You can't miss her. But I want to
I don't
turn
know.
this way.
I don't even know if there is a Tinkerbell animatronic. There's like her in a screen at the start of it, or like in a mirror
Well,
looking
this
thing, or
ride
a
takes the
little
L
bowl.
then.
Like the environments still look awesome, but yeah, like even
Yeah.
the load area, it looks so cute. It looks so good. Oh
Yeah.
man,
It looks fantastic. So those are the 4 attractions. There's also, like I said, tons of other stuff in this land, like different quick service spaces and
there's one quick service
gift
place
shop.
in each land, with the biggest one being in the Tangled Land of the Snuggly Duck Lane, which is cool
Yeah.
because that's the tavern from the bar. But also then there's 2 little, like there's a popcorn stand in Neverland, and then a little food cart thing, I think, or a little like counter that'll be open for in the Frozen one called Oaken's OK Foods, which I think is very funny.
Yeah.
The
I
most
want
interesting. You
I
want to
want
go
to go
on?
to the Snuggly Duckling.
Oh, okay.
I just that's all I wanted to say. I want to go there and I want to sing the song that all the bad guys sing at the beginning. That's maybe my well, it's not my favorite. I see the light is definitely my favorite of Tangled soundtrack,
Yeah.
but that's a close second because I love
So
how
the
actually the first one that Rapunzel sings "When Will I Life Begin." Okay, I'm just
it's
remembering it's
it's
such a good movie with such a good
it's so
soundtrack.
good. The thing that I want to talk about, I want to talk about this more than probably the attractions even.
Uh oh.
The theme, or like the merchandise stores. Did you know something? That in none of these lands, there's not going to be a single store.
No, I didn't. So that's the
There,
like the
the
thing I've looked at the least
Yeah,
is the
so the
stores.
only store, no, there's only one store.
Like these, yeah,
There's one
shows what
store,
I
and
know.
it is in the first floor of the hotel, but you can't enter it from the hotel. You can only enter it from the park, but it's like
Oh,
built into the infrastructure of the hotel. So it's like on the outskirts. So there's no stores. Like there's going to be little like wagons, like there is in like Toy Story
right.
Land or
You
in.
can buy your little bubble wand or
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Toy Story Land. Think Galaxy's Edge, where there's those little spots to like on the in the Resistance area to buy merchandise.
Galaxy's Edge, the
But
weird little stand where I can buy a full costume for
yep,
like cosplaying a Resistance.
Galaxy's Edge is
Why
weird.
Galaxy's Edge is so weird.
It really is. But that's the most interesting thing about this to me. There aren't like stores at the end of rides. Oh man, it's
It is really you know chucking the whole Simpsons, oh, you gotta go to the gift shop at the end of the ride, shtick. That's sort of a thing where you can't, you ain't walking out of Astro Blasters thinking, oh, I just got Galactic Hero, I'm so good. Let me buy 5,000 Buzz Lightyear and Alien plushies to
mhm.
compensate for how good I just did. Um,
Yep.
you're not doing
Oh,
that. That is very interesting. So, I mean, I wanted to mainly touch on the attractions and glaze over the other stuff because I mean the attractions are the big things I'm sure people want to hear about. But nonetheless, Fantasy Springs opening June 6th looks like it's going to be one of the best creations Disney has ever made.
yeah.
We haven't even been there and can't say enough good things about it. Other people have gotten previews and are saying tons of great things. And it's not even open yet. Like this truly, for as lukewarm as things are at the U.S. parks right now, internationally they are blowing it out of the frickin' water, and it
Well, are
is
they? We just got Disney Adventure World.
well.
I'm joking. No, the additions in Disney
Internationally
Adventure World are good.
in Asia, we'll say
Yeah,
Asia's
yeah.
killing it. So yeah, any other things you want to touch on before we do quick recs and wrap this up?
I we didn't touch on the fact that like outside, like the entrance of Fantasy Springs is all these like statues of like Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Peter Pan, and everything. They're like in the rock work. They're like rock carvings. They
Yeah,
look so good, like so good.
They look really good. The pirate
the
ship
lighting
looks really
package.
good.
The what? Oh yeah, the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, the Jolly Roger, and all the mountains with the clouds for
Oh
Neverland looks
yes.
really good.
The
The main reason I wasn't touching on all this stuff was because again, this is a visual thing
yes.
in a podcast, which is an audio medium, and I figured that's why I was stressing the pictures so much.
Yeah.
It's like people can go
Just
look at it.
just go look at this. It's
Yeah. We're not going to give
breathtaking.
you all the information because a lot of it's already out there, and
Yeah.
you can look at all these pictures. And again, the greatest information you can receive right now is looking at the pictures. So now that if you've listened through this whole thing, I'm going to be the first podcaster to ever say, hey, pause us, shut us off, whatever you want to do. If you can't multitask, and go look at them right now. Don't wait until after the show. Go look at this right now because it is truly incredible.
Yeah.
All right, we're running pretty
Pretty
longer
long
on time than we said, but I might still be able to cut this down. Let's do some real quick recs. Let's do one each. Just a super quick thing, and then we'll wrap it up at the end of the podcast. For those who don't know, I mean, if you've listened through all of them, you probably know at this point. But we tend to do recommendations. They're almost always not theme park related. Sometimes they're not even Disney related and stuff like that. They're just random. So, Bryn, what do you got? You got anything?
Yeah, I'll wreck the Fall Guy. The new Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling picture. It's great. It's very fun. It's like it's not like gonna blow you out of the water, but it's a good time. It's good romantic comedy.
I truly want to see it.
Has good action. It's an ode to stunt performers. Give him an Oscar. I know that's been Ryan Gosling's thing that he's been saying on this press tour. And I think other people have been saying that for years. I've been one of them. So, you rah-rah.
Cool. That'd be cool
great.
if this makes the push for that too, potentially.
I thought John Wick 4 would have done it last year because that was the talks when that movie came out last year, and I was like,
but if this movie is actually about it,
yes,
that might be the thing that does it, which is really cool.
Yeah,
I really want to see that. That's definitely like the next movie that I want to see.
Yeah.
Unless, and I'll go off. I'll say my recommendation now. Unless truly the thing I want to see is what I'm recommending because I've already seen it once. But oh my God, Challengers! I'm sure the Fall Guy is fantastic in its own right. But man, Challengers is so good. And I think it's already been out for a few weeks, so this is another one, kind of like my Godzilla recommendation last time, where I was like, this has already been out for a while, so it's probably not super relevant. But I don't care if you haven't seen Challengers yet. Go see Challengers. It's literally so engaging, fun, but also like it's like a drama. It's probably got somewhat. I'm not gonna say some like super similar vibes to the Fall Guy, but I mean in that romantic comedy sort of vein. Even though it's it's more drama than comedy, but like God, it's definitely my movie of the year. So I challenge your Fall Guy recommendation with my Challengers one. That's our tennis matchup. It's a movie about I should probably say if anybody doesn't know, it's a movie about tennis players. There's these two tennis players, and then Zendaya plays this other tennis player who ends up marrying one of them, and they become like a big power couple. There's like non-linear storytelling in it, similar to like a Christopher Nolan movie almost, where it's like Inception or type thing, except like this is way easier to follow than that. And I think the payoff is generally, I haven't seen every Christopher Nolan movie, but I think it's generally up there with some of his best and stuff like that. It's just, I cannot say enough good things about it. Yeah,
I will see it eventually.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked about some fun Six Flags America editions. We talked about a little beef with Disney and Universal potentially. We talked about Tokyo DisneySea's Fantasy Springs. All really fun topics. All really good topics. Brayden, you got anything to plug? Anything else to say before we wrap this episode up?
Good episode.
Yeah, this was a good episode. And hey, we're back again. This isn't just like it wasn't just a one-time, thing where we reappear and then, scurry back into our little cove or whatever. We're back with another one. Limitless Parkcast Season 2, baby.
Season 2.
Woo! Give this podcast a good old 5-star review. If you don't, Brandon will break your kneecaps.
Allegedly.
Well, with all that said, go look at those Fantasy Springs pictures if you haven't already. And Brandon and I are gonna catch you on the flip side. Brandon, take us out.
Alrighty, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.